Hi, everybody. Think I'm in good shape here. Who knows? I'm on my own. um, I wanted to make some shapes, like continue making shapes and make a recording so that you guys can work over the next week and a half or so. I have this template here that I'm working on that I'll send to you guys after the fact, but I had this idea to have a, let me make this bigger. Have a project sized, here we go, drawing, and with the armature, and then with, if you can see, sort of dotted lines showing, get some more light here, dotted lines showing the wrapped armature. And then as you build, you can check where your shapes are, and that you're keeping things bent the way that they should be. And I did change the armature a little bit because this was getting long. So as you guys work, I want you to make sure that your butt bones aren't sticking back too much. He was getting a little long, and we want his legs nice and underneath him. So just make sure they're not, jutting back too much. So what I want to concentrate on is the finish out the shoulder here and work on the butt. And then next time we meet, I will demo the head. And then our next class will be details of the legs and hooves and stuff like that. So let me see where I am. I've got my core, it's kind of wimpy core. This round just came out on the thin side. Okie dokie. So softer neck pillow, soft belly, point of shoulder. We did that. We did the chest. Okay, 2 times a double-decker taco. 5-inch core halves. Elbow muscle. Felt 1.5-inch area. Okay. All right. Okay, I got it now. So we want 5 inches. Always a good idea with me to watch first. And we want to make a 1.5-inch double-decker taco. So it sounds pretty big, but this is going to be fill out the top of their leg and be their elbow. So I'm starting with a 5 or 6 inch piece, getting this nice 1.5-inch area, and then doing the double decker so that I get the thickness at the bottom. And don't felt this to death, like don't kill it. And then what this is going to do is go here and kind of tuck around the back of the top of the leg here. I think this is a little gappy right here. So before I put this piece on, I'm going to get a little bit of wool and put it in there. I don't feel like I had, maybe last time when I wrapped my horse, I got in there a little bit more. So I'm not trying to totally fill this space because there's other things that do happen here, but I just felt like that was a little too much gap. Okay. Now, this. If you look at a horse image, they have this shape here that kind of comes up at an angle a little bit, and a leg muscle here. So we're going to make that muscle as well. I'm going to start by just tacking this on to the shoulder. And I really am on this top piece of the leg before the elbow turn. And then this, I want to just take a round under here and have it meet up. Don't pull it too tight. It's meant to stick off the back a little bit. Kind of make that. It can meet the body up here, but don't lock it onto the body where the leg is. So here's all my wire. I'm getting it on my wire. The front corner just going over the wire. Fringe going up here. But it's really the back part of the shape that is making that deeper elbow. When you look at a horse in profile, the elbow is usually in line with the barrel of the belly. So I feel like my horse is going to end up getting more belly to look proportionate. Okay, I do have my toothpicks on here, but I want to make two leg muscles. And I think I'm going to do them on the face east. So let's take about 4 inches. Split that in half. And I'm going to wrap right on the center. Kind of thinking about it being a little wider at the wider part of the tool, which happens naturally, but you can also put a little bit more wool there. Let me see how this works. This muscle goes on the front of the leg. You know what I think I did actually? Ignore that. I think a triangle is better. I think a triangle is better because it'll fit more nicely. It'll fit better. So I'm going to take a 3-inch piece. I'm going to restack it into like a 2-inch square. And then I'm going to felt a triangle. Pulling a lot of the fiber into the center. This can be a little bit pointy on the end because the pointy end blends in with the leg. I don't think I wrote this one down, which is why I didn't totally remember how I did it. But it's nice because this can kind of morph around the leg, and then this you can stab into the angle that you need. I'll show you. Oh, my little Stab-It is so polluted. All right, so pointy end down, and then this comes around. This is a little tricky because there's a lot of wire in here. Plus, it's hard to stab a shape onto a skinny. But you really do want it on the outside front. So not front, and not totally on the side. So this is where they have that line in their muscle. And I think it's helpful to give this a wrap so that it's all secure here. Let me zoom in a little bit. So I'm just taking a thin strip and getting this wrapped on. And when I do that, I can really tighten this down and then have this wool build this up. I think my landlord is out there mowing, which is funny because it's dark out. I'm here late because I have no power. Day 2, no power. I feel like this one feels bulkier. Feels like it's coming down the leg farther. Yeah, the wrap is really gonna hold this on. Let me grab a horse and show where I am here. Oh, I think that's my problem. Yeah, this needs to really come up here. It really comes up. And so on this one, it needs to really come up. That was why it was looking low. We're making this. So we made this with the double-decker taco, and now we're making this muscle here. I'm showing you that visual aid because it doesn't really feel like that, but that's what we're doing. Because I don't feel like I'm nailing it at the moment, but okay. I think I've got my vision straight now. It's always hard to wrap something that's tapered. It wants to slide down. Sometimes, like when you're making a face or putting shapes on the, a lot of three-dimensional shapes, it takes a little more than one to get it right. So like I'm looking at this shoulder muscle here and I feel like it's a little wimpy. So I may be bulking that up in a bit. But if you have your reference picture out, which you should, you will see this forearm, this leg muscle. But that does start to make the front end look a little bit more cohesive. They have an interesting little muscle in here. I did it with just like a seed or like a soft pillow because It's just kind of a fleshy underarm kind of thing. So I have a 3-inch strip. I'm going to split it in half, and I'm going to fold a 1/2 inch soft, 2 1/2-inch soft pillows. And then I'm going to sort of bend these into like a, I'm going front to back, but I'm instead of just flattening it down, I'm trying to sort of curve it into a cup a little bit. That's what the muscle looks like to me. I sent you guys some reference drawings when we started, and it shows the chest from the front, and that's where you can see this this little leg transition here to the chest. It's not attached to the chest, it's attached to the leg. It will be sort of like, you know, as you get your top coat and stuff on. But I would start by thinking of it more as on the upper leg, just sort of level with where the elbow is. Yeah, so from the front, it's disjointed looking. That's where these are there. Alrighty. Let's get some butt action going on here. Okay. I feel like my horse's, this hip, it's a little farther forward than I usually realize that it is. So normally I made a shape that went from here to here, just a Zully pillow, which I still can do, but I might need to add a little muscle just forward of this bump here, because I don't think it's quite far enough forward. So I'm going to take two 8-inch pieces. And I'm going to wrap the flat side of the Zully tool here. Just want to make sure my piece is drafted out enough to get out and back. I need to add a little bit more. Yours might be okay. I'm just having a little bit of like a wimpy issue with my roving. I want it to be a nice solid 2.5-inch shape. All right, so I have 2 of those. And the idea is to make a butt, make a good butt. So it's kind of, I think this might do the trick to get up on that hip a little further. I stretched it out a little bit. There's, oh my gosh. There's so many ways you could build this butt. I think it's a good idea to look at reference pictures, see see the angles of things, the shapes. It's been a long couple of days. I'm not making much sense. In the reference drawing I sent you guys, I did a top-down view of the butt, which is kind of cool because you can see that it goes from wide to narrower as it comes back to the tail. So that's what these pieces are kind of doing. I don't have this going over the top. I have it kind of at a 3/4. It's not totally on the side either. It's just around the top edge. And then I feel like once he has more belly, this is gonna look right. And this all can get smoothed out with a little bit of filler. But that's a little bit of a broad stroke, getting that big muscle onto his butt. Okay, I'm just looking at my notes. Elbow, 1/2 inches to butt bone. Bear with me. Hip to butt, 2 times double-decker stifle. Okay. Butt point to stifle. That's what I'm not getting right now. Butt point to stifle. I am totally flaking out on how I did this. Let's do it this way. Let's make a big double-decker taco that's going to do the same thing that the elbow did. But what I'm a little confused about is how I filled this space in. I think what I'll do is make 2 double-decker tacos, and one will go here and one will go here, and then we'll see what we need. Sorry for the lack of we want these both to be nice big I'm gonna do a 1.5. Oh wait, this is getting thicker now. Okay, so we'll do a nice 6-inch piece of a whole piece of core, off-white chunky core, people. You're gonna split it in half, and I'm actually gonna do 4 of these because I just need some filler here. Same thing, about 1.5 inches, just like the elbow double-decker taco. This is going to give us some shapes to work with to see how I wanted to fill that in. All right, so these, I think I want to go here, yeah. So this is going to hide this seam and kind of blend into that. And the edge of this is going to match up or just overhang the edge of the wire. And the fringe is going to go towards the body. And this kind of rounds out the look of the back of his butt. Gives it a nice horsey look. And because of the fringe here, if we pose it, it still has some give. You don't want them to get locked up. So each side is going to get 2, and then the other one, oh, I need to make this one, I need to put this one over here. And I need to make the the shape a little bit taller and different, like a little more like the elbow shape. I'm gonna do some wrapping to get all of this nice and secure. It's a little lightly felted at the moment. I love horses' little butt cheeks on the inside of their leg as well. They have a nice little butt cheek in here. Okay, so the stifle pieces I need to make tall because they're going to go from here and reach up, just like we did with the elbow. And then we also do a leg muscle on the upper leg like we did with the front leg. So this is more like a 7 or 8 inch piece, so I can get a nice, tall, definitely 1.5 to 2 inches. Let me see where I am here. Yeah, 2 inch. Yeah, definitely go 2 inches. It's about 1.5 inches wide, but 2 inches tall. And then just like the elbow went around here, this is going to go around here. Ooh, it's starting to look like a horse. Fringe going up. It's a little weird because there's not much to stab on right here. So you can see how much of it is sticking forward of the leg and that a pretty big bulk of it is getting folded over. That's why we needed to make this one a little bigger. So my wire angle is still going like this, but my piece is pretty much going straight up and down. So the wire angle in here is going like this, but this is going straight up and down. This is going to get stabbed up just a little bit, I feel like, because I want to put that triangle muscle on here. So you're stabbing into air a little bit to get started. Just getting it tacked on to that leg wire, and then this is where the shape is really concentrated, is on the knee. And you want to kind of dense this up a little bit. So that's going to take some stabbing. But there's some wrapping that can happen too, and that'll help firm everything up. So right now it looks like he has little pants on. I want to make two soft pillows. I'm going to check. Let me check a horse reference real quick and make sure that, sorry, I'm like reaching in here. I always look up Lusitano horses. I don't know why. I just think they're very classic looking. So I'm just looking for an image that shows what's happening. Okay, so right here is a pretty big, let me turn it the right way. Yeah, is a pretty big muscle. So I'm going to use 2 5-inch pieces. And I'm just going to fold a square, basically. So about 1 inch 1.5 square. And then I wanted, there's a little bit of like a gap here, a little bit of a spatial, but they have a nice muscle there. So that's what I want this piece to do. And it sort of has this muscular edge, so it's okay if that stays there for the moment. So not quite as far forward as the hip. It's still over the leg here in that little bit of a void. I'm going to stand my project up and just make sure that my legs are okay. So here's my spine, here's my butt pieces, here's my spine. Definitely need more belly. If I'm gonna add bulk here, it's gonna be chest and belly. I don't wanna go up this way. These might even be a little too poofy, but I'll get them tightened down. I'm going to firm this up. I feel like it's floating a little too much. And if you firm something up and then it loses the proper amount of bulk, you just add more. But I feel like it's there we go. That's looking better. Okay, we need the triangle leg muscle. Really pulling the wool into the center so that it has some good volume, not too pancake-like. Kind of a narrow triangle. And we're making a nice little bulky. I think I'm going to tuck this under and smush it up. Look at my image here. All right. My toothpick is already in there. Yeah, when I look at a horse and I need to dissect exactly what's happening more, there's a couple of bumps happening in the knee here. So I'm taking the fringe and I'm like tucking it back. And then this is trying to go at a 45-degree angle to the leg again. Not on the front, not on the side. Kind of just wrapping around. All right, and then a nice little wrap is going to define that. muscle we made. So pretty thin piece here. So I've got this on here, and I'm going to give it a wrap to help. Pretty tight, because I want, just be careful that your wrap doesn't pull it, you know, off of the place that you wanted it to be. And also don't lose your hock, you know, your cool tendon back there. This should be up on the top of this bone, the top half of this bone. So that's starting to look, let me see if I can show you guys the whole picture here. It's starting to look a little bit more horse-like, especially once we get rid of these dark shadows and get more belly on there. A wrap down and up can really help secure and define that that taper to the triangle. Because when you go down and then come back up, it's kind of like locking the taper down. I do think we're going to need a bit more bulk in here. Okay, I'm liking that. I'm trying to think of the best way to put my belly on. I feel like it's actually going to be off-white chunky core because this this roving is so thin. Let me see if I have some here. So I think I'm going to take like 2 4-inch pieces, and I don't know if you guys need this, it's just me. It needs to kind of taper on the side, come around underneath, and then taper on the other side. So I'm going to start with that, and then I think I'm going to do another wrap. The wrap just is like, okay, I'm stabbing on pure fluff, and the wrap is going to, oh yeah, that looks better. It's funny, like I always think of them as long-legged and kind of like elegant and spindly, which they are, especially certain breeds, but they have more substance to them than you realize. This is what makes horses so special. They're really very unique in their build. So I'm getting a nice long piece. Let's see if I can just get a thin ribbon to wrap this up. I feel like, you're going to start to see, if you hold this and hold, my hind right leg is always longer than my left. Check it against a reference. That wrap is always more than you think. Always longer than you think it needs to be. That should do it. If I get anything bulky, I try to just sort of spread it out. Redefine the spine a little bit. So in my design, my teaching design, I feel like this ends up a little hollow and this ends up a little hollow. So I just have to keep that in mind as we're building, you know, how to avoid those things. I definitely want this muscle to continue solid up to this muscle. This is a big, you know, that's a pretty big shape. So I'm gonna fold a muscle and let this taper. And I'm actually gonna just go right over what's here and redefine it again. And this is just a soft pillow. So I'm working off of that double-decker taco elbow that we made, but I'm letting this shape solidify it. Like, okay, now it's the right, we don't have a big hole right here. Like we do right here. So I'm taking a 4-inch strip, folding an inch wide, soft pillow, letting the bottom of it come over the already established elbow and letting the top of it run into, try not to like totally, you know, go over, but meld into the other shoulder angle. And this rolled edge here is good. They kind of have that. Please have a reference picture opened while you work. All right, I think this evening I'm about toast, except I think we can do the skin flap, and I need to make my chest deeper. The chest we want in line with the belly and the elbow, and to come out to about here and go up. Mine's kind of back in here. So that would be 2 shapes on the Zuli tool. I'll make them a different color so that you guys can see them. And depending on your chest, depends on how big the shapes are, right? So I'm using a 6-inch strip. And I'm going about 2 inches on here, 1.5 inches. This might be a little bulky. I might need to kind of stretch this out, but maybe not. I need to get quite. All right, so now I'm seeing the chest just from the side, which is good. And I'm filling this dip in so that it's nice and even with the elbow and the barrel. Another thing you can do is our horse heads are approximately, they're going to be 3.5 inches long. And so you can check, we'll do that together in 1 second. We can check our horse head proportions, pulling these out, getting this on. And I do want to keep that squareness because I'm going over another felted shape and not stabbing into wrapped armature. It feels a little poofy. Like it's a little bouncy, you know, but top coat is gonna be our friend in pulling everything together. But I like this. It's a little hard to see the angle on camera, but I've got a nice squareness that now when you look at the horse from the side, he's got a proper chest. He's burly. He looks really like burly, and I really think it's because my shapes are airy and that I'm going to lock him down a little bit here. Plus, they do get a little more on the neck. They have like a little bit more of a neck muscle. I'm always sort of trying to move along when I teach, so I don't felt things quite as much as you guys will. And then I regret it. Okay. The skin flap, look at a picture, should just be a taco. You know what, before we do the skin flap, we need to wrap this leg once. Like one big ribbon up and back. So I'm gonna get 2 6-inch ribbons. And I'm really taking a nice wide ribbon here and I'm putting it on here. I'm coming around the knee. I'm taking my nice wide ribbon and I'm pulling that leg into shape. And I'm letting the fringe go up. And this is kind of locking everything together. I'll hold it up for you to see in 1 second. So this is quite a bit of fringe doing work here. Big fringe starting out on the body, one wrap around, big fringe ending on the body. So you can see that wide piece just going around in there. Check that you don't lose interest. Like, they have a very distinct and interesting change here. So from the butt to the straightness of the leg. So you don't want to like, make sure you're not like melding things together in an uninteresting way. On this side, I do it backwards. I start out here, I come around. It's mostly around the top joint. It's not around the leg here so much. It's around the butt and the knee. Alrighty, let me show you from the from the front. Don't look at me. This is for you guys only. So I know it's a little hard to see from the top angle, but hopefully you can see how it's coming together in a horsey shape. I've got some work to do here. Like, we want to smooth that out. I'm totally out of steam, so I'm going to skip the skin flap piece for now. He's a little broad. This is a bit broad. This looks like my mare Carmelita, who was like a tank. So I'm going to work on that. I don't want him quite that bulky. His chest did need to come out, but it's a little something's a little funky. So I'm gonna look at pictures, but from the side I really like it. It's just it got a little chunky. Maybe too it's because he doesn't have a head yet and doesn't have his hooves. So I'm gonna stop there, but I would love it if you guys could get that going. That way, well, whether you do or not, it's fine, because next time we meet, I'm going to demo the head. So then you'll have 2 sets of things to work on before we meet next, which is when we'll look at hooves and legs. And yeah, so it's coming together. It's, it's a lot of shapes. The head's really fun. I can't wait to show you guys. So I will see you soon.